Micah Wylde, CEO of Arroyo. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. It's summer in Southern California, so it's nice and warm. Um, so I wanted to hit you up. You did a video almost a year ago when WarpStream first kind of announced where you're showing Arroyo working with WarpStream, which was really cool. And I wanted to revisit it with the latest versions of our products, and see what that looks like. But first, I wanted to have you just explain Arroyo a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Definitely, it was awesome to discover WarpStream a year ago and find out that, these things work together really well. So Arroyo, we're basically trying to bring stream processing to everybody. I spent a large chunk of my career building streaming platforms at companies like Lyft and Splunk.
Hmm.
And what I discovered is that with the existing technologies like KSQL and Flink, they're really only accessible to experts in streaming. So when we have a streaming team at Lyft, we can provide infrastructure around Flink or tooling, but ultimately it's our team that is going to be building these pipelines. And that's really the problem we wanted to solve with Arroyo is how do we have a platform that ordinary engineers, data scientists, analysts are able to build these end-to-end streaming pipelines, doing complex windows, aggregations, joins. How do we empower them to build these things themselves? And we decided that was actually going to take a brand new stream processing engine. We couldn't just build this on top of like Flink or Spark Streaming. And that's why we built Arroyo. It's focused around SQL. So people who are familiar with kind of building on top of things like BigQuery or Snowflake feel very comfortable just taking those skills and bringing them into the real-time domain. And
Okay.
it's designed for kind of like modern cloud infrastructure. So if you have Kubernetes or you deploy on AWS, it's very easy to get a scalable, consistent, reliable stream processing pipeline going. So yeah, that's the short version of Arroyo. We're trying to empower the world
Nice.
to do streaming. And I
Well,
think,
it certainly applies in a lot of cases, especially with all the data we got going on. Um, so I was thinking, if how about you create a cluster and then create some credentials? You give me the credentials, and I've got Shadowtraffic set up where I can produce a customer and an order topics, two different topics that you could then consume into Arroyo, which would be fun because we're like in two different places doing two different things, and that would be cool. What do you think?
that sounds great.
All right, why don't you
Cool.
screen share and let's see what it all looks like when we do it.
Let's do it. Cool. Well, I've already got my WarpStream login here. I have no clusters though. So I'll go create a cluster here. Um, let's call it uh, Arroyo demo. We'll
Or
create a,
Quetzalcoatl, whatever's easier.
or what?
Quetzalcoatl.
um,
Serverless.
yeah, we'll create a serverless in US East. Oh, no. Underscores. Arroyo.
That's right. I always
Yes.
get stuck with that. So you can exit the tutorial since we're going to go ahead and produce data.
Cool. So let's get you the credentials.
All right. So go ahead and paste me that in the chat, and I'll pause while I pop this into my script. Once I hit produce, we should see two show up. All right. I just hit start. Okay. It says it's producing.
Cool. And there we are.
Bingo. That's so cool.
Awesome. Cool. So we have our topics here. I think we should start up Arroyo and see if we can read from it.
Yeah.
Um, so
Experiment.
yeah, I'm just gonna start a local Arroyo cluster here. Just on my laptop. And we'll go to the web UI here.
Okay.
And there's a few different ways we could set up this connection, but I'm going to kind of go through it in the UI. So we're going to create a Kafka. We'll call it WarpStream. We'll go find the connection information.
Oh, that'll
Um,
be under connect over on the right.
Perfect.
So over on the right, you see Bootstrap broker URL.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Very easy. Serverless.warpstream.
Yeah, it's like disorientingly easy.
Oh, nope. That's not what I want. Yeah, somehow copied the copied text. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to do SASL authentication. Um, and if we look at the librd Kafka, this is going to tell us how to configure it. So we want SASL SSL as the protocol.
Right.
And we want plain as the SASL mechanism. And then I need those username and passwords that, see, I think I sent you. So I'll
Yeah, you
pull
can
those
grab them
back up.
back from the chat. Good thing you put them there.
Yeah. There's the username. There's the password. Then we can hit validate and
Bingo.
amazing. It just works.
I love it.
And then we're gonna automatically fetch the topics here. So we have those ready to go. We'll
Nice.
start with the orders topic. Um, and we have a few different ways we can kind of like get the schema here. But since I don't really know anything about this data to start with, I assume it's JSON though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So we'll start with what we call unstructured JSON, which is basically we just read it in as raw JSON. If we had like a schema, we could set that up here, and it would kind of be prepared for us nicely. But we'll just start with this. When we can test this, it's gonna go try to fetch some messages and make sure that's all working. Perfect.
Nice.
And I'll just quickly go through and do um, the users table as well.
Customer.
And yeah, and something nice you can see here is that we've already set up this cluster. We
Yeah.
call this a connection profile, and it's just here to use. We don't have to go through that all over again.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So yeah, customers. And we'll do the same thing, raw JSON. Perfect. Now we have those set up, so we can just start creating pipelines for them. Some existing stuff here. Well, so you can see these on the side here. We have our customers in our orders table. Because we set them up in this unstructured JSON mode, we just have a
Yeah.
single column that's of JSON type.
Okay.
Um, but we can start by just kind of like selecting from them and can see sort of what this data looks like. We can start to actually schematize it. Right, so we have like an order ID, a customer ID, an order date, and a credit card number from this one.
And this is all simulated data, so anybody that wants to try to grab credit cards, it won't work.
Good to know. There goes my retirement plan. Cool. And then our customers, we have some more data.
So your join would be on the customer ID.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, now we have this data, we can sort of find something interesting to do. Um, let's start with a join. That's definitely, I think, a unique value of a system like Arroyo is we can do these kind of like streaming join operations.
Nice.
So we have um, yeah, so we actually maybe the first thing I'll do is actually like schematize this a little bit just to make it easier to work with.
Okay.
So we'll create a view customers um, uh, parsed maybe. And we're just going to select out the fields we care using this extract JSON string function. That's just going to pull out the JSON from this.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so customers, customer ID. And what's something else we might want to look at? Um, maybe this membership would be interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Pull this out. So extract JSON string. Oh, sorry, this is actually value dot membership. customers. And if we pull from this, we should now see, oh, sorry, this is as,
Uh,
and this is,
oh, extract. You misspelled it.
oh,
Yeah.
yes. It's always the live demo excitement. Can I type correctly while narrating? Cool. So now we have we have our records.
Nice.
This camel case. Cool. So we have our data there, and then we can do the same thing for our orders field. There we go.
Yeah, right.
Except we have a negative number here, which is interesting.
Maybe it was a return. Well, I mean, it is sample data.
I guess, yeah.
I might not have had a constraint for it to randomize.
Cool. Okay, so now we have our parse tables, and we can actually start doing some interesting stuff. Like maybe we're just interested start with like the average cost from our orders, and we'll do this over like a tumbling window. So maybe every like 5 seconds we'll see what the average cost is.
Oh, cool.
Stop this. Oh, sorry, tumble. So yeah, you can see every 5 seconds, this will output the average price of our order.
Nice.
Of course, we can sum, we can look at other like kind of descriptive statistics. We're summing our costs over these intervals, these tumbling windows. And then once we're sort of happy with that query, we're able to start this as a real pipeline. So
oh, cool.
You can actually run this persistently. So that was kind of like our exploratory view where we're developing the pipeline, and now we're actually running it. And if we were actually deploying this for real, this is sort of the mode we would use. We can see kind of the data we're reading in, and
okay.
we're not writing to a sink. So normally we'd be writing this back to WarpStream, for example. But since I didn't set that up, we're just here outputting into the web UI. So you can see our results. And in the background, everything's being checkpointed persistently. So in the case of WarpStream with Kafka, we're keeping track of like the offset that we've read from. And then if we like stop this and restart it, it'll pick up exactly from where it left off consistently, as if it had been running the whole time.
Wow.
All the aggregates and everything will be correct. Similarly, we can like rescale it if we find that we're not keeping up with our 17 events per second, or if you were to turn that up to 1,000 or 10,000 events per second, we can horizontally scale, and that all just takes a few seconds. So yeah, that's Arroyo, and it all was super easy to run with WarpStream. Just plug in the credentials and go, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't take anything. If you know your SQL, especially when you're dealing with windowing functions, like that tumble is good. One of my favorite examples there is sort of add impressions versus add clicks. You've got these streams coming in. Impressions always precede clicks, but only by so much. So you're not going to get a click 20 minutes after you got an impression. So you need to offset that to match those things up. Well, that is awesome. Thank you so much for the time, Micah. That is some cool software. I like what you're doing over there.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for checking it out. And amazing how easy WarpStream makes this.
Totally.